Some changes on the laptop. Let's see. Fires right up. Sounds great too. So okay, cool. All right. So I know it's been quite some time before we were working on it, but I just wanted to kind of give you guys a reminder of what was happening. So I went to go take the car on a test drive. It was running and idling, and I took it down the street. And I made it down the street, pushed the clutch in, oh, maybe a little bit further down the street, but I pushed the clutch in and the car stalled. It died, wouldn't come back on. And that's, you know, it's in the phase of tuning, so we know like that type of stuff can happen. Just pulled over, tried to crank it up, nothing at all, wouldn't start at all. Let it sit for about 5 or 6 minutes, tried it again, nothing. So I ended up walking back to the shop because I didn't have my cell phone on me because I'm a dummy. Make it back to the shop, get it towed, and when it gets back here, it fired right up. You know what I mean? I let it run and idle for like a couple hours and it wouldn't do anything. So the following day, I started up, let it run for a couple hours. Maybe I think it was like an hour or so, and I went to go back it out. And when I went to go back it out, it died the exact same way. Wouldn't start back up, nothing. So I grabbed my laptop, and it was missing the home signal, which is the cam angle sensor. So unlike the 1G cars, they have like an inbuilt cam and crank sensor built into here. On the 2G cars, they separated. So the crank sensor sits over here on the timing belt, and the cam sensor is separated here. And this actually lost signal, which makes sense because it got hot and it lost signal. So we're gonna go ahead and replace that guy. And obviously while we're doing that, we're also gonna be freshening up the ignition system. And so what's gonna get deleted is going to be the 4 spark plug wires, the 2 coils themselves that are tucked back here, and the igniter. And all the wiring is going to get tapped into the igniter. Now, the thing, people are probably gonna ask, well, why not go sequential? This car's on a big 16G. I just don't really see a real reason for it to go sequential. Plus, with being able to do all the wiring here at the igniter, it's going to save the customer a ton of money. To go sequential, we're going to have to run wires inside the cabin, wire it up to the Haltech. And again, on this setup, I just don't really foresee a need for it. I mean, keep in mind that Evos, like 8s and 9s, are still wasted spark. And, you know, there's several of them on the stock style ignition wasted spark that are making over 600. So, like I said, I just don't really foresee a need for it to be done here. All right. So it took literally a month for this to show up. Now, when I ordered this, I ordered it off of eBay because I thought it was a really good bang for buck. What I did not realize was that it was coming from Russia. So let's open this sucker up and see what we all get here. So we've got, these actually look like Nissan coil packs. Yeah, these look like Z coil packs that they just etched their logo into. Yep. So there's that. So let's see. There's 2 coils. That's not it. Okay, so we're given 4 coils. Let's grab this here. Exact same deal. Then we've got a bunch of hardware and connectors, but the scary part is I'm not seeing any pins in here. Then we've got, what's this here? Oh, okay. So the pins are pre-crimped on here, which is really nice. They're also pre-labeled here. So we'll open that here in a second. And finally, we've got the actual bracket. This bracket is made out of some metal material. Feels like steel. I'm not sure where it is. And it's got surprisingly good instructions. Shows how to tap into the igniter or how to do it into a aftermarket ECU. It's got a dwell time. I mean, it's pretty well put together piece. So that's really cool there. I'm not a dealer for these guys. Like I said, I just did a quick eBay search and this showed up. So, okay, so we're gonna start taking this all apart here to do the coil on plug install. So we're gonna go ahead and toss all that out. And so this plate has spacers and whatnot, but it sits pretty good into the coil cover here. It looks like it's a little This other end is a little bit raised. It's almost like this is a little bit too long, it seems like, maybe. And it also doesn't have a bolt hole for this side, so I wonder if it's because it's designed for a 1G valve cover. All the other holes line up though, for the most part, except for this one right here. It's not perfect. So let's test fit one of these coils here to see how... Oh, okay. All right, that's weird. Let's check this out real quick here. All right, so there's two sets of spacers. There's these four, which are the shorter ones that are for the coil, and then these 5 are for the mounting plate. So that's how you know the difference there. So we're gonna go ahead and start putting these spacers onto the coils here really quick. For some reason though, we're given 3 different sets of hardware. So there's 4 really long ones, there's 5 short ones, and 3 medium ones. I'm not sure where they go. The instructions don't really differentiate. Obviously we can tell that these are going to, these 4 right here are going to be the coils, I'm assuming, but these right here, I'm not sure. Maybe it's to account for different valve covers. I'm not sure at this point. So we're gonna just start putting together, and then hopefully we can get it all to work. All right, now it makes sense why they didn't pre-pin it. These little rubber grommets have to go in, and the wiring harness goes up through all these to kind of get them all locked into position so it looks cleaner. So now it's starting to make a little bit more sense. I guess we're gonna go ahead and start feeding the harness through and then mounting the bracket onto the valve cover. Okay, so nothing's tightened down yet, but this is essentially how it goes. I've got some extra hardware there, but so this one is not extra. It's just because the valve cover itself is broken, so that's why that one's not used. These other ones I'm assuming are just for like different valve covers, because there are a couple variations, but this is it in a nutshell here. So again, nothing's tight. And the wiring was pretty straightforward. You just got power and ground and the signal wire, and they all kind of go the same. So I've got to double check 1 or 2 because it looks like I got these 2 mixed up. So good thing I double checked. So let me go ahead and fix that real quick here. Okay, so this is our tentative wiring diagram right here. So we've got the igniter unplugged. We've joined the 2 pairs of coils together. Remember that we're doing this in waste spark. So anyways, so we've got 2 and 3 here, and then this is 1 and 4. Then we got power and ground. And so normally you have to retain the igniter for a takt signal, but because we're on a standalone ECU and we're using the ECU Masters ADU, there's no reason for to keep the igniter at all. So we're just gonna make the changes in the Haltech ECU here for this, change the dwell time, make sure that we have the ignition coil set up correctly within the software, and then this thing should fire right up. I think the battery is flat though, because it has been sitting for some time. So let me let's check that really quick here. Some changes on the laptop. Let's see. Fires right up. Sounds great too. So okay, cool. All right, so there you go. We've got it started on the new ignition coils here. So now that means that we can start taking everything apart. We can pull the fuel rail. We can pull the fuel rail off of it and start removing the igniter and the factory coils just to help clean up the engine bay a little bit more. So we're definitely getting there. Okay, so here are the things removed. We've got the PTU plus the bracket for it, the factory ignition coils and its bracket, spark plug wires, and then this other bracket that goes on the other side. So all that now is gone, and we've gotten to this setup here. Everything's all nice and tight, and we've freed up quite a bit of room back here. Not that it really matters, but now there's a ton of room back here. So definitely way cleaner. The only thing is that so the last thing that we got to do now is just to basically wire this up. So I'm going to split this in here. This guy's never going back to stock, so I'm basically going to either split this in and cut this connector completely off and then hardwire everything in, or the alternative would be I could depin this, but it just seems like it takes way too much work and time for me to depin this to essentially do the exact same thing. So I'm just going to strip the wires off, and then we're going to go ahead and just hardwire them in. The kit does come with this 6-pin connector here, so that's going to work out pretty good. And then we just got to route this around to get everything out of the way, and then that should be that. So the last thing that we got to do now is just to basically wire this up. So I'm going to split this in here. This guy's never going back to stock, so I'm basically going to either split this in and cut this connector completely off and then hardwire everything in, or the alternative would be I could depin this, but it just seems like it takes way too much work and time for me to depin this to essentially do the exact same thing. So I'm just going to strip the wires off, and then we're going to go ahead and just hardwire them in. The kit does come with this 6-pin connector here, so that's going to work out pretty good. And then we just got to route this around to get everything out of the way, and then that should be that. All right, so that's basically it for this one, guys. We've got everything installed, everything's all wired up, buttoned up. So now we're just waiting on the cam angle sensor here, and then what to do about this battery as well. And then after that, we should be able to move forward. Unfortunately, the ADU is still not back though. So I'm not sure how much longer that's going to be, but unfortunately, like I said, the ADU is not back. So anyways, we've got all that stuff going. All right, so that's that, guys. We've got everything wrapped up wiring wise. Obviously, we know that the car starts. So we just got to figure out what to do about this dead battery here, and then we can get this thing started up again. But I think that's it for this one. So the next step is changing out this cam angle sensor really quick here, this guy, and then we can actually go road test it again.